I keep replaying the day I let my kid go to the concert with his friends. I wish I had gone with him. I wish I had forced his friend's mom to go with him. I wish he had never bought the tickets. I wish he was not standing in the spot where he was. I wish the shooter was shot the moment he was seen with the gun. I wish there were no gun sales.
One of the accompanying thoughts that characterizes severe depression is everyone would be better off without me.
Each time I go to bed, I talk to the pillow for half an hour as if it were a man. However, even in my fantasy, we end up fighting. It's difficult for me to imagine someone being in love with me. That's something that I think about all the time, or every day. I think, why would anyone want to love someone who feels this boring, or someone who lacks the personality?
Happy birthday to you.
I've been cheated on by every girl I've ever dated.
When I was cheated on by my boyfriend with my best friend, I lost all my self-esteem and believed I was unworthy of anyone.
Being cheated on completely changes your perceptions of yourself. Years later, I still find myself wondering what she had that I didn't, and why I'll never be good enough.
I fantasize about being the heroic figure in my sister's life and stand up for her when her husband beats her up. I've experienced spousal abuse in my household, and you want to be able to say something, but you feel like you don't have a voice, especially when the person is somebody that you love on both sides. But I think the best thing to do is speak up.
Angry for them. Why did no one tell me that men just don't get told nice things, apparently? Today I told my boyfriend, hey, you're deserving of love. And he cried so hard he got a nosebleed on my new dress. I'm not mad about the dress. I'm not mad about that at all. I'm mad about the fact that in his 18 years of life, no one, not a single person has told this man that he's deserving of love?
Why do nice people choose the wrong people to date?
Are we talking about anyone specific?
Well, we accept the love we think we deserve. Can we make them know that they deserve more?
We can try.
Your biggest enemy is you. My whole book is about you battling yourself.
After I picked up my daughter's ashes from the funeral, I went home and ate some of them.
I found one of my old suicide notes in my father's office. He knew that I had suicidal tendencies, but never talked to me about it or changed his abusive behavior.
Some kids in my class formed a WhatsApp hate group of my name a year back. I recently found out that my best friend is also a member in it. My boyfriend manipulated and forced me into having an abortion of our baby that I really wanted to keep. He called me crazy and broke up with me a few months later, saying, "You're not getting over it fast enough. I'm paranoid that I can never have a child again."
My biggest heartbreak was when my father passed away from cardiac arrest from shoveling the driveway after I was taken in an ambulance for my suicide attempt.
I was raped by my uncle, and when I told my family, my sister laughed at me and called me a liar. What broke my heart is that my parents agreed with her.
I was raped when I was 7 years old by my uncle. The horrible thing is that I fear if I tell anyone, they'll make me report it to the police. I don't want to tear my family apart.
I was sexually assaulted by a close friend's older brother when I was 10 years old. I didn't realize until years later, but deep down, at the time, I knew something was wrong, and I cannot stop thinking about how different things would be if I just spoke to someone about it.
When I was 15, my 25-year-old coach would pick me up and drop me off at school or practice. I initially thought he was being nice since we lived in the same neighborhood, but things took a turn. I never told my family about my secret.
Are you okay? Yeah? Have you been crying? No. Do you want to talk about it? No.
I called a black woman a monkey because she kicked at my dog. I'm not a racist person.
I was molested between 11 and 15 years old. I feel like a molester just thinking about a kid's appearance. Like their hair is pretty or he is really tan. I know it's not in a sexual way, but it always feels wrong.
I used to make fun of a gay kid in my middle school, but then one day when I was feeling so alone and depressed, I realized all I wanted to do was be with him.
I let a man have my body so I could call him my boyfriend. He didn't love me. It got to the point where I would just sit in the shower and cry after every time. I hated myself. Wow.
In high school, I used to eat lunch in the bathroom stall. I do the same in my workplace now.
As a child, I never talked to my toys, but now I'm 24, and ever since I've been living alone, I talk to my stuffed animals when I feel my friends don't want to talk to me anymore.
My best friend unfriended and abandoned me without a word after I told her I was suicidal. I still blame myself to this day. I wish I was different, and maybe we would still be friends.
I've never been able to manifest a mutual friendship. Never even had a cup of coffee in a cafe without my anxiety kicking in. Never even celebrated my birthday. I am meant to be lonely.
I feel so lonely that I get chest pains and I can't breathe.
My best friend tried to kill me with her vehicle. I was on life support for 3 weeks. I'm still trying to understand why she did it. She ruined my life and she only got 5 years probation.
My friend committed suicide last year, and I was the last person he tried calling. If I took the time and answered, he might still be here today.
As a child, I was taken advantage of sexually by multiple men in my family. At age 15, when a school counselor heard about a specific uncle touching me, she called the police and my mother. What hurt the most was when my mother was angry at me instead. I became disowned in my own home for years.
I took $100 from my dad's wallet. He found out and confronted me and my brother. I quickly put the money in my brother's drawer. My dad found it and kicked him out of the house. That was a year ago and we haven't heard much since. He won't answer my calls or texts.
In my school, a girl wanted to commit suicide. A lot of people, including myself, were laughing because we thought that she was joking. She ended up doing it. I regret it.
I bullied my transitioning best friend until he killed himself. After he died, I felt terrible. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, and to this day, carry the burden of his death on my shoulders. I regret it, but I never told anyone.
I was sexually molested by another classmate about 4 years ago, and I still can't find the courage to tell my parents. Even if this happened 4 years ago, I still feel guilty for everything that happened.
My friends all think that I'm happy 24/7, yet I am miserable every minute of every day. I feel like an outsider. I always make sure they are okay, yet no one asks me if I am.